Testing, testing. Is this on? I got the tiniest mic in the whole world. Anyway, how are we doing? This is an interesting interview with a tiny mic.
That's right. That's right. So we have a fantastic person who needs no introduction, but he is a Web3 evangelist. He plays an instrument, but there's a lot more to him than that. This is...
Well, I'm Scott Page. Like you said, a lot of people know me as a Web3 evangelist, DeFi guy, meme tokens, utility tokens, NFTs, but I'm also the saxophone player from Pink Floyd. So I have a kind of a dual life, a little bit of music, a little bit of Web3, and where we're going in blockchain.
And it's amazing to meet you, honestly. I think it's always great to hear from creatives who express themselves in so many ways, and I think creativity doesn't stop in just one form of art. I think the art, it lives through us in many forms.
Yeah, what I always looked at, it's interesting. My father was a serial entrepreneur.
Wow.
Right, so we had boat business, lighting business, candy business. We had 26 donut shops at one time. My father was one of the co-developers of the wah-wah pedal, the famous guitar pedal, right? So I've been around that, but he was also on a television show called The Lawrence Welk Show, which I grew up on with kids. So I've been around music and entrepreneurship, and I've always looked at music and when you can bring the music and the business together. Yes. So I kind of do both sides of things. Wow. I like to add the business side along with the music and make them kind of work
together. Your dad's form of art was money, his medium of art.
No, my dad was a great musician, incredible musician.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, my question to you is, where do you draw from your creativity? Where does that come from? Where do you lean on to get it from?
Listen, we all lean on the same thing, the source. God, the source, nature, whatever you want to call it. No, and I mean that seriously, because consciousness is my favorite subject.
Yes.
There's nothing else that means more. This is important to me because that's where it really comes from, right? It's like when you get it from that space. And so, people always ask me, why do you like to play music so much? Because I actually get to a place where I can drop thought and basically connect with God or the source.
Yes.
So that's really where it comes from for me anyway.
Yes. And so, and I know that right behind us is one of your artworks, your famous artworks.
This is crazy, this thing.
Could you tell us a little bit about this bad boy?
Sure. First of all, I was picked as one of 222 projects to be put on this special hard drive that was designed to last 1 billion years. All the images were etched into this thing. It went up on a Falcon 9, and it was called the Odysseus Lunar Lander. It landed on the moon. It's first time we've been on the moon 50 years, and it landed there on February 22nd, 2024. This piece here happens to be called the Golden Mullet. See, that's me, actually, from the day with this crazy hair. I used to have a crazy mullet, right? But what's interesting about this piece, if you look at it very closely, it's made up of 7,000 photos of all my entire life, all my my years with Pink Floyd, thousands of Pink Floyd photos, 150 hours of Pink Floyd videos, Super Trap, my Toto days. I had my meetings with Lady Diana and Charles, and I had a business with Quincy Jones. I got QD7, all my game company stuff. So this is really basically a piece of my life history.
Wow.
And these other paintings over here, where you can kind of see a little bit over here, this is a Dave Gilmour picture. It's one of the pixels in there, right?
Yes.
And so that's a Dave Gilmour and a few other ones over there. But anyway, what's interesting, I think, since we're talking about where art and where things are going, and obviously you're doing NFTs and understand, what's interesting about this piece is it's a DeFi and circular economy business model.
Wow.
So what do I mean by that? So this thing got appraised for between $3 and $11 million because of all the IP. So now I've got it up for sale for $5 million. But here's what's interesting about it. What I'm going to do is, if you buy it for $5 million, I take $2.5 million and I'm pegging it to this asset. And that money gets locked up for 5 years, and then that money's going into our liquidity pools. I happen to have I'm a co-founder of a company called YieldX, YLDX.ai, and we're a hybrid liquidity pool funds. So think of us like mutual funds, but for liquidity pools, and like the S&P 500. We have 3 pools: a stable coin pool that's doing about 2.2% a month, a coin pool, Bitcoin, Ethereum is doing about 2.7, 4.7, and then the DEX pool is doing about 7.7 to 2% a month. Now, what we do is you put that $2.5 million into our DEX pool, right? And that's basically, over the last 3 years, is over doubling.
Wow.
Every year. And it doesn't matter if the market's going up or going down, because these are all based on
real
liquidity, not based on the tokens.
And it's all locked, so
it's all locked. And we use all these crazy lending and borrowing protocols.
Gotcha. So, that's a great take on how to approach art and Web3 and finance. And like you said, your dad and all that, all those backgrounds converging. Very happy to hear that's a unique process, to be honest with you. And, when it comes to art, you've talked about how your art has ended up in space.
Yep.
And that is a journey of transformation, and is a transformation journey. And so would you feel all art, for example, our art, the Lost Tesla Art Car, was a physical piece.
Right.
Then 10 years later, 2022 became a digital piece, reborn.
Right.
Both almost lost. And now 15 years later, here at BitBasel, it reappears.
Yes.
As a digital form. And in 2010, it first appeared as a physical form at Art Basel. So it's a full circle transformation. So how do you feel about art? Do you feel art like that is actually? What do you think about art like that? Really?
Well, listen, I think, first of all, the whole world's about to get tokenized.
Yes.
Everything will be tokens.
Yes.
Tokens are about to eat the world, and it's going to basically be the biggest wealth transfer, I believe, in history.
Absolutely.
Amongst people, because now we have a method for authenticating and basically scarcity, creating all the things we can, building stories around them. And you got this little robot network called the blockchain, handling all the rights, rules, the permissions, and access to that piece of art. So new business models like this. I mean, I meant like buying an art piece that the minute you buy it, it starts generating you money.
Revenue.
Most art, when you buy it, you have to wait for years. And it's not liquid. This thing is liquid.
Immediately.
And what happens is now, because the way the pools work, it updates every second. So the minute you buy this piece of art, your wallet starts going up. When do you buy art like that?
And right? That's right. So
new business models.
One of the things we did was using our art with philanthropy. We work with the Light Must Unite and the Opioid Awareness Foundation. We Brock Pierce auctioned off our art, one of our collaborative artworks. So we are trying to do cool things as well, and more so like a philanthropic angle with with that. 100% goes to charity on those pieces. What we are doing with our piece now is we're fractionalizing that NFT, the last piece, that digital art, and we're going to give away 1,000 fractional pieces to a lot of people. And I definitely like you to be one of the first people to get your hands on one of those.
Come on, I want one. Piece of history.
Yes, absolutely, it's a piece of history, and we even beamed it to space. We beamed it to a satellite. Nice. So it's going places, it's gone places, and we don't know what's going to happen next. But we're all part of that journey. I'm really happy to hear. And I mean, overall, from what I've described to you about the story of it, I mean, is it something you've heard before in the digital art space or virtual art space?
Well, let me first say this: everything is about the story.
Yes.
In this game, because I could say, this pillow down here, I'm going to NFT that pillow. And you say, well, who would care?
Right.
But if I told you that pillow was where Mick Jagger and Frank Sinatra wrote Highway and Michael Jackson sat on it, now that thing has something different.
Yes.
So the story is everything. So the story behind that piece is the part that everybody wants to be part of. I want to own that story. I want to be part of that story.
Yep.
So when a great story makes it work. So yeah, I love what you're doing. I think it's a great thing. And I think what's wonderful what you can do with charities and things. And I would you might want to think about a little different model with that NFT. I got some models
we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And last question, how do you feel about BitBasel?
Oh, I love BitBasel. It's my, I guess my third one. I've been here now, this one. And, first of all, Scott and Scarlett and Jorge, they do a credible job. It's a great, this year looks fantastic. They've even taken it beyond where we were last year.
It to a next level.
But yeah, I'm so impressed, first of all, with BitBasel as a business, as a company, because they stood the test of time through COVID, through all those things. This is, I think, 6 years. I think they've done this.
That's right,
now.
6 years.
And so they keep going at it. They keep growing, and they really give an opportunity to the artists, to the people to kind of get out there and really growing this digital side. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for
very much.
Our interview. We will be keeping in touch, and we'll circle back soon.
All right, and thank you for letting me use a little tiny mic.